Hello everyone, welcome to a tropical weather checkup for September 9th. Today we're going to be looking at Tropical Storm Paulette, Tropical Storm Rene, and Invest 94L. Enjoy. Here is the radar imagery of Paulette. It actually looks a lot more disorganized than yesterday. That northeast side still by far the strongest side of the storm, and you can also see that in the cloud fall. That northeast side is clearly the strongest side of the storm, which is actually the side that could hit the Bahamas, which could drop a detrimental amount of rain. Water temperatures ahead for the storm are pretty warm. That's why they expect it to strengthen a bit and hit its peak pretty soon. Looking at past 24-hour precipitation, you can see that yellow area, that yellow line, and that's where the northeast side of the storm has passed, and that's where it's dropped by far the most rain. And you can also see by the wind speed that northeast side, really the entire north side, is the much stronger side of the storms. That southern eye wall has completely fallen apart in the last day. Now looking at the intensity of Paulette, 95 kilometer per hour winds, 996 millibars of pressure, and moving west-northwest at 17 kilometers per hour. It's going to continue on that west-northwest trend until it starts to flatten out, moving west, and then it will start to move northwest towards Bermuda. Now looking at the infrared imagery, you can see that northeast side is definitely the strongest side, at least right now it is, and the southeast side has completely fallen apart, and just the south side in general has fallen to pieces for the storm. That's why they expect it to weaken a bit after it hits its initial peak, which should be pretty soon, probably within the next couple of hours. And here's the water vapor, which looks pretty much very similar to the infrared. The southern eye wall has completely fallen apart for this storm. Now looking at the cone, which doesn't really show anything interesting except for the part that Bermuda is in it. No watches or warnings in effect, which I'm kind of surprised about. I thought they would at least put a tropical storm watch for Bermuda, but they didn't. And here's the chance of tropical storm force winds, 10% now on the island of Bermuda, which, I mean, that's pretty quick. The storm's still very far out to sea, and they already predicted there might be some tropical storm force winds on the Bermuda coastline. And here are the models. They all show pretty much the same thing, and it does not look good for Bermuda. Now looking at Rene, which is definitely weaker than Paulette, but actually looks more organized. Yesterday, it was the complete opposite, where Rene looked like a complete mess, and Paulette was looking actually pretty good. Now they've completely switched places. Rene still isn't looking the best, but definitely looking better than Paulette is. And now looking at the cloud fall, that northwest side, probably the entire northern side is the strongest side of the storm, but mostly the northwest side is the strongest. Water temperatures ahead for the storm, pretty warm, and that's why they think it will get to a brief hurricane status. While Rene might look more organized, it has definitely not dropped as much rain as Paulette has. Still dropped a good amount of rain. You can see that yellow line of where the storm has passed through, and wind speeds nowhere close to as strong as Paulette's. But that northwestern side starting to get some pretty strong winds. The reason Rene's wind speed is lower than Paulette's is probably because it was a tropical depression not too long ago, earlier today, and it hasn't had as much time to strengthen up as Paulette has. Here's the intensity, 65 kilometer per hour winds, 1,003 millibars of pressure, and moving west-northwest at 20 kilometers per hour. It's going to pretty much continue on that west-northwest track for a while, and then start to head more northwest. It will become a brief hurricane, and then start to move out into the colder regions of the Atlantic. Now looking at the infrared imagery, the weakest side is probably the east side of the storm. That northwest side is probably the strongest side of the storm, at least right now. It looks pretty good on infrared. That outer band you can see also looks really good. Now going over to water vapor, which pretty much tells the same story. That east side is the only thing that could really get in the storms away. Now looking at the cone of the storm, nothing really too interesting about the cone. No land interaction is expected and no watches or warnings are currently in place. Here's the chance of tropical storm force winds, and they're actually not that high. There's no guaranteed tropical storm force winds anywhere right now, which is kind of surprising. And the models for the storm, honestly, are all over the place. Some say it's going to go out to sea, which is what most models say, but also some say it could come close to the U.S., as you can see. It might be the weakest out of the 3 storms we're checking today, but it could probably do the most damage to the U.S. Invest 94L. You can see that at the bottom of your screen. It already sent a huge band of rain towards North Carolina and Virginia today, and it could do even more damage, possibly becoming a tropical depression in the near future. Now looking at the cloud fall, you can see it's just a disorganized set of thunderstorms right there. It's not really that organized at all right now, but it could get more organized because, water temperatures are super warm, more than enough to fuel the flames of a strong storm. Now looking at past 24-hour precipitation, you can see it really hasn't dropped that much rain, a lot of green. That rain band that it sent at North Carolina and Virginia today probably dropped a lot more rain than the storm has out at sea. Now looking at wind speed, nothing really to show as it's pretty much average wind speeds out there. It hasn't really started any big wind speed yet. Now looking at it on infrared, again, it's very disorganized. You can see that massive blob that it sent at Virginia and North Carolina actually could hit Maryland and maybe Delaware and could definitely do some damage even to the D.C. area. And now looking at the models, all pretty much say the same thing, and it does not look good for North Carolina. Honestly, if you live in somewhere like Brunswick County, North Carolina, you could definitely be seeing, if it even doesn't form into a tropical depression, a very strong storm once this thing hits. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching this tropical weather checkup. If you want more of these, then definitely comment down below. Here's the overview of the entire Atlantic. You can see Invest 94L on your left, Paulette and Rene in the middle, and you can see that new Invest just starting to form off the coast of Africa. The reason I did not talk about it in this video is because it has not been officially designated as an Invest, but it probably will be soon. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Bye.